Gas station manager.
Yeah, we should.
You want to email? Sure. Email out to like, we're hooked up, we're ready to go live. TV, 3. Because there is no one in. Yeah, there is no one.
What time are you guys live?
Web team into now.
So everybody has to bail about the same time until like. Are you Brian?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nicole.
I'm Brian.
You're
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Nice to see you. I think I met you at the
I have it on my actual camera.
plane crash. Remember with all
Yes,
those
when we
people?
exchanged the
Yeah,
videos
yeah,
or the
yeah.
pictures. Yeah. Oh, good. Good
Cool.
to see you. Yeah,
you
congratulations.
Thank you.
Or condolences.
I know, right?
Whichever way you want to look at it. That's fine. It's fine. But no, we were on our way to like essentially busted.
Yeah,
No help from our guests to figure out how to do things.
I think what we're going to do is, I don't think it'll go that long because they have a new rule here with overtime.
Oh,
Like
they
they have to
do?
get special permission to go past 5.
Oh, that would be good.
So
Then we'd all have
I
time.
don't think it's possible. So
Do you know if the pressure is on those steps or those?
we were wondering. We don't know. I just know it's definitely downstairs.
Yeah, because I talked to her on the phone on the way here.
Yeah.
But I forgot to ask him which stairs, because I'd never been here, so I didn't know there was more than one.
I mean, it's probably on the side. It's probably on the west side.
The west side.
Yeah, that's where stuff normally.
Really? Okay.
Although there's been some stuff on that side too.
Or should just do it in the hallway.
Maybe they will. Maybe we can just do it. I mean,
I don't know why. I don't know anything.
but what was I gonna say? Yeah. We'll be
In the first half hour.
and then we can
Yeah.
and then because it's just a lawyer. I mean, I'd rather hear from the guy who reported it. You know, who's gonna be there.
Yeah, but he told me though she might speak.
Really, at the present time.
Yeah. I mean,
that'd be great.
Yeah, he said she might.
Yeah.
This clearly won't be over because he says that they have like 5 witnesses, none of whom are going to be heard from today. So there won't be a decision made today.
Okay.
So there's no way she's going to be able to get there and go. I'm so very full.
That might, I think it's a little bit too good for media out here. So.
Yeah.
I thought that it was just, they were just questioning the ex-boyfriend who reported.
That's for today.
Today, okay.
Yeah, but I guess it's part of this overall hearing for a new trial. There's
Okay.
like 5 other witnesses. He said none of whom were here doing today.
Okay.
It's just this one.
Interesting.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so he said some good in the first half hour.
Yeah, that makes
Sweet.
sense, right, or
And if they cut it off after that, even better.
And then Dalia talked to this.
Yeah, well, because my big concern, that was my big concern, was like, what's the live when that's happening? Oh,
Yeah.
let's do a both sides. Well, that doesn't matter. I could do a both sides. I could do a freaking 4-minute series.
And you're
It doesn't
only,
matter.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah,
I think you'll be good. I think we'll be good.
We're probably going to do it at 10, but I don't know. Once, especially if she doesn't talk, I have a feeling they might change their minds on that.
Yeah.
But as of now, they're thinking, oh, yeah, you're on this tonight. So.
Yeah, I mean, even if she gets one sound bite.
Oh, that's enough.
Yeah.
Stay outside and shoot with your iPad or iPhone hallway because
Yeah, I should.
they're waiting outside and shoot in the hallway.
I'm going to laugh when my boss says decision day. They're going to show his face. He's not getting it. Do you have another SDI out on that, on your camera?
There's only one out, one SDI out. I don't know. Your cameras are compatible.
They're not compatible.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Are you guys on the...
I only can give them SD,
Are you...
and it's not
Oh,
going to be
SD?
matched with any of the I can see. Yeah. They only.
Yeah,
See, I think I can give you. Do you have a cable? I can probably give you. SD. I can give you SD.
yeah, that's probably why we really need Oh, it's on the left. It should be on the back. All the way in the front. Remote. That one. No?
Okay, okay. Do you want to stay on the phone with me?
That's a HD.
No, I need to know when you're gonna be, because in
No,
case
should do it on-
something happening here, you know. Okay. Okay.
The easiest way for me to get it out of here.
Judge.
Hey, we do it next week.
Trial wise.
She's here.
She's going to try it, but
She's here.
in 3 days with you, it'll be gone in 6 days. So if you're interested, and it's with Jerry Salerno, so it'll be, I mean, we'll have it done by Wednesday. With you. Yeah. No pressure on that. Cases, just doing a quick response. So those are all like, yeah, they're all current cases. Like, yeah, this one.
May you see the court second session. All right, good afternoon. Please be seated. Okay. So we have the Dippolito matter. What we're going to do is take testimony today with respect to Mr. Shahade. That's really all we're accomplishing here today. I don't need any argument on the motion. We're not hearing the motion today. It was just a request that we preserve this testimony for the purposes of the motion to dismiss. So Mr. Shahade is here, is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right, once you come forward, we'll swear the witness, and then the defense can begin its examination. I'll swear.
Just standing and face.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
And you may take the witness stand over here to my right. You can announce the appearance for the record, but after that, we'll just put your right into the testimony.
Mohammed Shahade.
Craig Williams for the state of Florida, Judge.
Okay?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Brian Claypool on behalf of the defendant.
Mark,
also on behalf of the defendant.
All right, so you may proceed. I'm kind of rushing because we have limited time before I have to shut the courthouse, the courtroom down. So go ahead, get started.
Okay, which podium would you like me to use, Your Honor?
Go ahead, whichever one you're comfortable with.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Is it Shahade? Good enough. Okay, all right, that's a nice try. You and I have never met before, correct? No. Okay, you're here today pursuant to a subpoena? Yes. Okay, and when did you first meet Dalia Dippolito?
Around 2001, 2002. Not exactly, I don't remember.
Okay. So, in the middle of 2009, you had known Ms. Dippolito for about 8 or 9 years?
Correct.
And you considered her to be a friend? And prior to 2009, you had a sexual relationship with Ms. Dippolito, correct?
I mean, it was, I guess so, yes.
Now, in July, actually, to be specific, do you recall on July 31st, 2009, contacting the Boynton Beach Police Department?
I don't remember if that was a date, but I do remember contacting the Boynton Beach Police Department.
And you picked up the phone and you called the Boynton Beach Police Department?
Correct, and he told me to come in.
Okay. What did you tell them when you called?
That something's getting out of hand, and I don't know, you know, and they asked me to come in not to speak to it over the phone, so I just came in.
Okay, did somebody at Boynton Beach Police Department tell you to come into the police department?
Yes.
Okay, did you want to go into the police department?
Not really, but I mean, they told me if something happened that's going to fall back on me, so I had to go in.
Right, but you really didn't want to be involved, did you?
No.
Okay, and you didn't want to go into the police department, did you?
No.
Right. And when you first went to the Boynton Beach Police Department, the first time that you met with any of the detectives there, they interviewed you for about 3 hours. Do you remember that?
I don't remember exact time, but it was a while, yeah.
Weren't there 2 occasions in which you were interviewed by the Boynton Beach Police Department officers?
I think so, yes. That's
right.
So far back, it's trying to recall.
Isn't it true that during the first time that you met with the Boynton Beach Police Department detectives, they did not record a 3-hour conversation they had with you?
Honestly, I remember one time being a recording. I don't remember if it was the first time or the second time.
But one of those times, they never recorded that conversation, correct?
I can't be 100% sure, honestly. It was 5-6 years ago. I mean, this is...
Okay, Your Honor, we have brought with us we wanted to lodge with the court, and I apologize, we should have done it ahead of time, the deposition transcript of Mr. Shahade and the trial transcript. I wanted to refresh his memory by reading his testimony.
You can show, you could refresh your recollection, is that what you want to do?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, he said he doesn't remember. You could show him the transcript, or the portion of the transcript you think might refresh his recollection. Ask him whether it does, and if it refreshes his recollection, he testifies based on his recollection.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Do you have the transcript? Oh, okay. Page 158. Your Honor, I have if I may show him. It's, for the record, it's page 158 and 159. May I approach?
It says no. Somewhere between 2 and 3 hours, not recorded, correct? I said no.
So, having read page 159 of your deposition transcript, does that refresh your recollection as to whether there was a 2 to 3 hour interview with the Boynton Beach Police Department detectives that was not recorded?
There was a session, yeah, that was not recorded. I don't remember how long it was.
You said 2 hours, maybe. Do you remember that?
Probably around that. It was so long ago.
And now there was another interview you had with the Boynton Beach Police Department in which, do you recall, the detectives had to stop the recording because they were laughing? Do you remember that?
Yes.
So it didn't appear to you that they were taking it real serious, did it?
No.
Do you remember what they were laughing about?
They thought it was a bizarre story. I don't know, and they didn't believe me, and they told me that I had to do this, or these are going to be the consequences, and then I guess they did that whole fake crime scene, and that's when I didn't even know that there was a fake crime scene. I didn't know anything until the next day I saw it on TV.
Right. And somebody at the Boynton Beach Police Department told you there'd be consequences unless you cooperated, correct?
Yes, they told me if something happened to her husband that it would fall back on me.
Well, they were trying to make you feel guilty, correct?
Somewhat.
Right. Now, you went to the Boynton Beach Police Department and you simply asked one of the detectives there to pick up the phone and just make a phone call to Dalia Dippolito, correct?
Correct.
In fact, why don't you explain to me, what is it that you wanted to have accomplished when you went over to the police department?
Well, when Dalia approached me, it was based on that Mike, or her ex-husband, was I didn't even know she was married at the time until it was mentioned that he was an abuser, hitting her. And then Dalia had told me that she wanted to...
I'm not to interrupt you. I just want you to focus on when you went to the police department.
Yeah, I wanted them to help her.
Right, you specifically asked one of the detectives to pick the phone up and call her, correct?
Correct, and help her.
You didn't ask to be involved in any investigation, did you?
No.
Nor did you want to be involved in an investigation.
I actually signed a paper to keep my name confidential and not release my name to anybody, and complete opposite happened.
Right, let's talk about that. You were told, Detective Marino was with the Boynton Beach Police Department, right? You remember that name?
I remember the name Marino. I don't remember who was which.
Okay, let me try it this way.
Yeah.
Do you remember a detective at the Boynton?
Detective Marino.
Okay.
I do, but I don't remember who was which.
All right.
Let
me make it easier for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember a detective at the Boynton Beach Police Department who gave you a document to sign, and he said, sign this, and you will remain anonymous?
Correct, but I also told the detective that I wanted to contact my attorney, Ian Goldstein, and at that point, for those 10 minutes, we could not get a hold of Ian Goldstein, and we did get a hold of Ian Goldstein after I signed the paper, and then Ian Goldstein kind of told me that paper doesn't keep you confidential, they explained it to you wrong. And
right, when you signed this package of information that somebody at the Boynton Beach Police Department gave you, isn't it true that you thought that by signing that, you would remain confidential and anonymous in this investigation?
I didn't even think there was going to be an investigation. I thought they were going to just pick up the phone and call her. And that's what I just wanted it to happen. I really didn't want anything else to go on.
Right. You just wanted to give a statement to the Boynton Beach Police Department and go on your merry way, correct?
Correct.
And what happened is members of the Boynton Beach Police Department pressured you into remaining in on the investigation. Isn't that true?
By threats of if something happened to the husband, I would be blamed for it.
Right. Well, they also strike that. The Boynton Beach Police Department also threatened to prosecute you unless you remained on this investigation.
Correct.
Isn't that true? And that scared you, didn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember having a sit-down meeting/lunch with Dalia Dippolito at a Chili's restaurant?
I remember it was a restaurant, I just don't remember the name, honestly. I remember we did go one time to a restaurant where they recorded or something. I don't remember exactly what they did, but I do remember us sitting at a restaurant.
All right. So I know you may not be perfect with dates, but the date I have for that is August 3rd, 2009. Does that ring a bell, or you just don't remember the date?
I know it was within a short time period of when I went into the police department, so it must have been around that time.
Right.
All
right, so just so the record's clear, you first called the police department July 31, 2009. August 1st, 2009, is that when you first went to the police department?
Around that time, yes.
Okay, and when you went to the police department, didn't Detective Marino immediately tell you to start calling Dalia Dippolito?
Yes.
In fact, he called you. He called you once 10 times to get you to get on the phone to call Dalia Dippolito, didn't he?
Yes.
Did Detective Marino ever tell you when he was imploring you to call Dalia Dippolito that the Cops TV show was filming at that time?
No.
Did you ever know that?
No.
When's the first time you learned that the Cops TV show was filming?
When they told me that I had to make her meet with a undercover officer that was supposed to be a hitman, then the next morning I woke up and I just saw it on TV.
Right, the first time you learned that the Cops TV show was filming was when you saw it on TV.
Correct.
You wouldn't have been any part of that had you known Cops was filming?
I was going through a divorce at that time period. I didn't need anything more than what I was dealing with.
Okay, now let's move forward then on August 3rd. I'm skipping backwards now from the Chili's restaurant, okay? Now we're a couple days later, where you actually met with Dalia Dippolito inside your truck, right?
I never had a truck. I had a Lexus LS.
I apologize. You in your car, correct? Now, before you met Dalia Dippolito in your car, you had made numerous phone calls to her, correct?
Correct.
Now, were you wired when you made those phone calls?
I don't know if I was wired, but I did at the first trial, I guess, when they made me listen to phone calls, I didn't know I was being recorded. Sometimes Officer Marino told me that we were gonna tap into the phones to keep her on the phone for a certain time period.
Okay, but do you know, have you heard, how many audio recordings have you heard?
I heard like maybe 2 or 3. I didn't hear all of them.
And you made hundreds of phone calls to Ms. Dippolito.
Well, me and Dalia were also at that time hanging out, stuff going on that not related to this, but there was times where the detectives would call me and tell me to call her, say this, say this, say this, say this, or do this and do this, and I had to do it. So, I mean...
Do we have the audio recordings of those?
I don't have it.
Have you heard them?
No, not all of them, no.
Right.
I think Ms. Parker at one time during the trial, when she visited me in the hotel when I was visiting down from the Middle East, she made me hear maybe a couple phone calls, but I never heard all the audios.
In fact, Your Honor, I'd like to mark as Exhibit A a compilation of AT&T phone records, collectively 33 pages. May I approach, Your Honor?
You want to mark them as Exhibit A?
Yeah, Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Okay.
Collectively Exhibit A.
Leave it 1.
Okay, Exhibit 1. Okay, thank you, Your Honor. May I approach? Just to speed things along, maybe if you could go through generally the phone records to see whether you recognize your cell phone number on the phone records.
That was my old cell phone number. I don't recognize the numbers that I was calling, though. There's a lot of different numbers on these phone records.
I'm pointing you to the highlighted...
Yeah, that highlighted is my phone number.
Yeah, the highlighted, just so we're clear for the record, isn't it true that the highlighted phone calls on Exhibit A are made by you to Ms. Dippolito?
Yes, but a lot of the phone calls were also in the police department where I was told to call her at that time.
Oh, and I'm not being difficult with you. I understand that. So on some of these phone calls that you made, the police department told you to make them, correct? Have you heard any of the audio recordings of those phone calls?
I think maybe a couple, not all of them.
Okay. Well, just to be clear, and I know you haven't counted these phone calls, but I went through all these records, and from August 1st through August 3rd, remember August 3rd now is the date where you met with Miss... well, August 3rd is the date, just so we're clear for the record, August 3rd is the date that Ms. Dippolito actually met with this gentleman who was the undercover police officer.
Okay.
From August 1st to August 3rd, 2009, there were 426 phone calls that you made to Ms. Dippolito, and I went and counted that 367 of those phone calls were actually answered by Ms. Dippolito. And my question to you is, do you know whether any of those phone calls were recorded?
I don't know. I know some of them were being recorded because the detectives told me they were recording it. And there was a certain time period that I needed to keep her on the phone. And I don't remember exactly. I mean, it was so long ago.
Now, isn't it true that at the time you were making all of these phone calls, you felt pressured by Boynton Beach Police Department to cooperate in this investigation?
Yes.
At any point in time, did anybody at Boynton Beach Police Department tell you it's okay, you don't have to be involved in this investigation anymore because you don't want to be.
No, they never told me that.
Right. Now, on August 1st, was it, you actually met with Ms. Dippolito in your car, correct?
I think it was a gas station.
Oh, at the mobile gas station, right, in your car, correct?
Right.
Did you know at the time you met Ms. Dippolito in your car at the mobile gas station that the Boynton Beach Police Department had installed video cameras in your car?
No.
Did you ever consent?
No.
Did you ever consent to the Boynton Beach Police Department to allow your car to be set up with video cameras in it?
No.
And when's the first time you learned that your conversation with Ms. Dippolito in your car at the mobile station on August 1, 2009 was videotaped?
When people called me up and said, you're on YouTube.
Through a YouTube video, right?
YouTube videos.
Now, I want to fast forward a little bit now to back to the Chili's meeting, okay? And I apologize for moving around on you. Now we're 2 days later, and you're meeting Ms. Dippolito at a restaurant. You didn't realize it was Chili's, but
Right.
All right.
It was Chili's.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Now. Prior to meeting Ms. Dippolito in Chili's restaurant, were you wired by the Boynton Beach Police Department?
Yes, I was forced to wear a wire to go in.
In fact, you went to the police station prior to going to Chili's restaurant to get wired. True? I'm sorry? Right. So you are 100% sure that when you went into Chili's restaurant to meet with Ms. Dippolito for lunch, you were wired, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, was there was there anybody affiliated with Boynton Beach Police Department inside the Chili's restaurant when you met with Ms. Dippolito?
I don't recall. I know there was somebody in the parking lot, I guess, to hear the conversation. I don't recall any. I don't remember if someone was actually sitting inside the restaurant.
Right. You didn't see anybody from the Boynton Beach Police Department inside the restaurant when you went in there wired, correct?
I don't remember, honestly. I don't remember. I know they were sitting by the window. I don't remember if it was inside, outside. I know there was a detective that followed me there. I don't remember exactly what it was.
And can you estimate for us about how long you met with Ms. Dippolito inside the restaurant? About
30 minutes, maybe.
30 to 40 minutes?
Yeah.
That fair statement?
Maybe, yeah.
All right, great. Have you ever, to this day, heard any audio tape of your conversation with Ms. Dippolito inside the Chili's restaurant?
No.
Back in August of 2009, did you have a license to carry a concealed weapon?
Yes, I owned check cashing stores and delis.
Right, so you carried on your person a gun, correct?
No, I didn't have a G license. I had a concealed license where it would be kept in my stores at all times. Never carried it on me.
Do you remember showing your gun to the detectives at the Boynton Beach Police Department?
Yes, because they made me leave the guns at the Boynton Beach Police Department before I met up with anybody or whatever they were doing.
Well, do you remember testifying your deposition that you gave your gun to the detectives at the police department? They took it for an hour and then they gave it back to you.
Right.
That's true, right? Right. And by the way, when Detective Marino was pressuring you to call Dalia Dippolito, did you either you or Detective Marino even know what Dalia's last name was?
I did, yes. Maybe, I don't know, honestly. I know the reason why I can relate to it is because she had when we first met, I remember just the name Mohammed. I think that was her father's name. I don't know if I remember her last name.
Right, and I'm not criticizing you, but you were unable to convey to the police officers what her last name was, isn't that
Right,
true?
and that's why they didn't believe me, too, because at that point, I mean, me and her were on and off, and there was a 5-year window period where we didn't see each other, and she had approached me at one of my businesses and came to me. And that's why.
But Detective Marino doesn't even know Dalia's last name, and yet he's telling you to call her immediately, correct?
Right.
So, to your knowledge, do you know whether Detective Marino was able to do any background search at all on Dalia Dippolito before he told you to call her?
No, I know for a fact she didn't, because they were laughing because me and her had a relationship and I couldn't remember her name or the address or anything like that.
Right. Members of the Boynton Beach Police Department were laughing during this interview because you had a sexual relationship with a woman named Dalia, but you couldn't even remember her last name, and they found that funny, right?
Yes.
Yet they were really worried about Mike Dippolito getting killed, right?
I didn't even know his name at that time.
You didn't even know Mike's name?
No. I've never met Mike. I don't know his name. I don't...
Had you ever served as an informant before in any case with the Boynton Beach Police Department?
No.
So when you went into the Boynton Beach Police Department, they had no clue who you were, right?
No.
I'd like to show you one more exhibit. I should be done soon, Your Honor. I just want to show one more exhibit. We'll mark as Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2 is collectively for the record, a 7-page document. May I approach, Your Honor?
Right.
Thank you. Take a moment and look through that, and then I'll ask you a couple questions on that.
You're supposed to share your stuff before.
Pardon me?
You're supposed to include me with this stuff when you...
Oh, I'm sorry. I told you before.
No, you never showed me anything.
Sorry about that.
Mr. Williams, you haven't seen one?
I haven't seen anything, Judge.
Well, I introduced him again. Show Mr. Williams one.
You can just tell me what it is.
You highlighted. And
Let me finish.
One of the phone records, I'm not sure what to.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't
Your
know.
Honor, just for the record, I did meet with Mr. Williams beforehand and told him that I had 2 exhibits, and he had both of those, but I do apologize for not
Show
showing.
me the exhibit you're showing now.
You bet.
Tell us what it is, that's all.
Sorry about that.
I'm only reading the highlighted, correct?
If you could just skim the entire document. Have you ever seen this document before? Pardon?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall whether anybody from the Boynton Beach Police Department sat down with you and explained to you any portion of Exhibit 2?
No. I just know that when I signed that paper, it was supposed to be to give her a call and to stop what was going on, and I wouldn't have to be involved. And at that time, I had my own problems that I was going through that I really didn't read this in detail. But, no.
Right. Well, isn't it true that Detective Marino gave you Exhibit 2 told you to sign it, and that if you signed it, you wouldn't have to be identified in this investigation. Right? Do you feel like you were betrayed by him? Okay. May I take a look at the document?
Are you moving 1 and 2 into evidence?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Markman for ID. Is there any objection to one? I assume 2, they need to describe this. CI agreement? What is 2?
Right. Exhibit 2 is a confidential informant agreement. The reason I didn't identify it, Your Honor, is because he doesn't really... Do you know what a confidential informant agreement is?
I've never seen one before until I got over there, but the way he explained it, confidential means confidential. No one would ever hear about your name or know about you.
Right.
And that was what I was told.
You know what to
Yeah.
call it when it's being marked. We have to call it something.
Yeah.
So it's CI, it's a confidential informant?
Sure. Yes, Your Honor. I apologize. Exhibit 2 is a confidential informant agreement.
Okay, and you're moving both 1 and 2 into evidence?
Right. I'm moving Exhibit 1, the phone records, into evidence, and Exhibit 2, the confidential informant.
Mr. Williams, is there any objection to either 1 or 2?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so defense 1 and 2 in evidence without objection. You will need to give those to the clerk for more.
Sure. When you signed Exhibit 2, did anybody from Boynton Beach Police Department tell you that you were signing a document authorizing the Boynton Beach Police Department to simulate an arrest?
No. I didn't. I know for a fact that nowhere on that paper did it say simulate an arrest. At the time that I signed it, at least. Unless there was pages added in there, but there was nothing about simulating an arrest when I read it.
Okay. And in paragraph 6 of Exhibit 2, it states that you understand that you're working to interrupt ongoing criminal activity. Now, in your mind, when you were pressured into this investigation, was there any ongoing criminal activity?
No, it was to interrupt anything that would happen or anything was going to happen. And that's what I was explained at that point to do. And there wasn't really anything criminal at that time other than, I guess, a thought. I don't know.
Right, and then paragraph 15 of this document, Exhibit 2 you signed, says, I agree to cooperate with the Boynton Beach Police Department of my own free will and not as a result of any intimidation or threats. Well, that didn't happen, did it? Because they did pressure you into staying on this investigation. Isn't that true?
Well, at the time that I signed the document, there was no pressure, but the pressure and everything became after I signed the document. And so none of the rules were followed by them, or I don't call it a fair game. I don't call it a game. I don't call anything what they approached me, released my name, the whole fake crime scene. I don't think they went overboard a little bit, you know.
Right.
Things shouldn't have happened.
Right. So just so I'm clear, after you signed Exhibit 2, then you did feel pressure, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, nobody from the Boynton Beach Police Department ever sat down with you and briefed you on how to even make phone calls to Dalia Dippolito, correct? And each morning that you came, that they told you to come back in, did they give you what's called a debriefing?
They did give me, like, say, tell her that she has to, I think, tell her that she has to go to the gym, and I don't know, there's a couple of things that you met with the hitman, and the hitman told you to do this, and meet her at the CVS, meet her there. So there was a little bit of a briefing, yes.
Did Detective Marino seem in a hurry to have you sign Exhibit 2?
Yes.
And about how many minutes did you spend reviewing Exhibit 2 before you signed it?
The whole paper, probably 2 minutes. When you go to Boynton Beach Police, you're supposed to trust the police on what they say. I didn't really think it was going to escalate to anything.
Now, wouldn't it be fair to say that during most of these 400-odd phone calls that you made to Ms. Dippolito between August 1 and August 3rd, 2009, that the Boynton Beach Police Department was not sitting right next to you listening to your phone calls? They didn't supervise or monitor you in those calls, did they?
I know that they were tapped in. I don't know. A lot of them, they were sitting right next to me. A lot of the phone calls, they were sitting right next to me.
Oh, they were. So if they were sitting next to you and they were tapped in, we would have those audio recordings, wouldn't we?
Should, yes.
We should have them. Okay, great.
I believe Ms. Parker provided at one point a CD to me. Some recordings, they were in all the recordings. I had flew to the Middle East, and I think that CD still remained there.
Almost done, Your Honor. point during this alleged investigation, Mr. Shiada, that somebody called you on the phone and you told them that you were involved in an investigation? Somebody unknown to you, or a friend of yours called?
I had lots of phone calls.
Right, but you disclosed to members of the public during the investigation that you were involved in an investigation, right?
I didn't disclose that. What happened is when there was a store in Riviera Beach where me and Delilah were hanging out, and they overheard our conversation and kind of got involved. And they rode in the car with Delilah, and that's when I went to the police department the next day.
Right, but wasn't there an occasion in which you were wired by Boynton Beach PD, and you got a phone call from somebody you knew, and you said to them, "Hey, I'm in the middle of an undercover investigation." Do you remember that? Or?
I don't recall, honestly.
And if that happened, did Boynton Beach PD remove you at that time from the investigation?
I don't recall.
And is it true, Mr. Shiada, that you were worried because Boynton Beach PD threatened to prosecute you unless you stayed on this investigation, that you might be arrested? I don't have any further questions at this time. Thank you, sir.
We've never really talked before, have we?
No.
We just met the other day and
Correct.
kind of said, I'll see you next week. All right. Do you remember, and I know it's a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of years ago. Do you remember when it first happened, you went to the Riviera Beach Police Department because that's where your store was and that's where she first came to you?
My store was in Palm Beach Gardens. I called the Palm Beach Gardens police. The Palm Beach Gardens police told me to call the Boynton police.
Didn't you go to Riviera first?
I don't recall if that was Riviera. I mean...
Didn't you go to police department first and that was the police department was laughing at you and then they ended up referring you to Boynton Beach?
No, the first police department I ever went to was the Boynton Beach Police. I never went to any other police department but the Boynton Beach Police.
And why would you have gone to the Boynton Beach Police Department?
Because when I called 911 to tell them, hey, you know what, something's going on, well, they said, where is the incident? They said the Boynton Beach, I told them Boynton Beach Police, they said, you need to go into the Boynton Beach Police Department. Actually, she gave me a phone number for a detective. I don't remember which detective it was. And I left a voicemail on that, and that detective probably within, I don't know, 4 hours, 5 hours, called me and said I need to come into the Boynton Beach Police Department now.
Okay. You didn't know where she lived, did you?
No.
Did you meet with her in Boynton Beach, the first meeting?
I don't recall. I mean, me and her, we hung out so many times, I don't...
Did you have a store in Boynton Beach?
I had a store in Palm Beach Gardens, not Boynton Beach.
All right, so you weren't in Boynton Beach for anything?
No.
When you first went to the police, you telling us you just happened to pick the Boynton Beach Police Department as the first one, even though you have nothing to do with Boynton Beach?
No, I called 911, and I told them what was going on. I think at that point, I don't remember exactly what was going on, but when the detective called me back and asked me where I was at, I was getting a haircut in Lake Worth up on 10th Avenue, and he said, can you come into the Boynton Beach Police Department? So I think it was called Al Pacino's at that time.
All right. You signed the confidential informant agreement. You're telling us they didn't give you an opportunity to read it?
There was so much going on at that time. When I read it, I didn't read every paragraph, but from what I was told, that it would remain, nobody would know about it, and they were going to give her a call, and that's it, I'm done with it. Whatever they decide to do with it, that's between them and Delilah.
And that happened the first day you met with the police?
Yes.
And that would have, so if it was July 31st, the first day you met with them, it would have been July 31st?
If that was the first day, yes.
And then 10 minutes after signing it, you contacted Ian Goldstein?
Correct.
And Ian told you that you weren't going to be kept confidential?
Yes, after I signed it.
All right. And you know Ian's a good criminal defense attorney?
Right. I've known Ian for forever. We used to fly to Vegas together.
Okay. So when the police threatened to prosecute you, did you call Ian Goldstein?
Yeah, Yes, and he told me that I have to cooperate with him because if he was there, he would have told me not to do it because he told me if you read it over, and said if they decide to pursue the case, then they have the right to call me.
No. Did you tell Ian that the cops were threatening to prosecute you?
No, because I mean, really, the threats didn't come that 10 minutes after I signed the paper. The threats came when they kept on calling me and said, well, you have to call her.
Well, you said they threatened to prosecute. They threatened to prosecute you, right?
Correct. If something happened to him.
Or what?
If something happened to him, if he got killed or murdered or a hit was taken out on him.
And they told you were going to get prosecuted for that?
They told me that it would fall back on me.
Well, sure, it would fall back on you. You'd feel good if your husband ended up dead? That would make you feel good?
No, of course
No,
not.
you'd feel like crap, wouldn't you? All right. So there's no question. That was a truthful statement. If this guy ended up dying, you would have felt horrible that he did nothing. Is that true?
And that I would have been prosecuted for not telling the police department.
So they told you that you were going to be prosecuted?
I don't know if the word prosecution was used, but I would get in trouble pretty much if...
It's really important, because if they told you were going to be prosecuted, why didn't you call your friend Ian Goldstein?
I did call Ian, but Ian wasn't available at that time, didn't answer the phone, and it wasn't...
Call him the next day?
I did.
And you told him that, right?
I told him what was going on. I said, and he told me I have to cooperate.
You told him they were threatening to prosecute you, and Ian told you, his legal advice was, you have to cooperate with them.
I don't remember exact words, but I do recall him telling me that if anything happened, that it would... I remember pretty much what Ian told me, also the officers told me, that if anything happened to him, that it's going to be my responsibility. And Ian told me I did the right thing by going to him.
Okay. So you never discussed with Ian that you were going to be prosecuted for some crime?
No, it was a very short conversation. He was in the middle of a murder trial at that time.
Okay. You said you never consented to Boynton Beach putting video camera in your car. How did they get the camera in your car?
I don't know. I'm thinking when they would put the wires on me, I never consented to cameras. I didn't know there was cameras in my car at any point or any time.
How'd they get in your car?
I guess when they asked me for the keys.
And you said, for what?
I guess to remove the weapon out of the car. I didn't know that they were going to put cameras at all in there.
And where was the weapon in your car?
I'm sorry?
Where was the weapon in your car?
The glove compartment.
Okay. How good is your memory about what happened back then?
Not too good. I mean, sir, I've been through a lot since then, so...
It's pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You tried to put this all out of your mind?
Try.
Okay. When you went into Chili's, the defense is making allegations that you put a gun to Ms. Dippolito's head and you threatened to kill her. Is that true?
No.
They're saying that when you went to Chili's, she said to you that, I don't want to have my husband killed, I want out, I don't want anything to do with this anymore, and you said if you don't do it, pointing a gun at her head, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to kill your family. Did that ever happen?
I don't know her family, and if I pulled a gun, I'm pretty sure there were people eating in the restaurant that would have probably called 911.
Did you ever do that?
No.
Did she ever tell you that she didn't want to go through and have her husband not killed? Never? Initially, you thought it was a joke because she was telling you that she was an abused woman, and she was just speaking about having her husband killed, right?
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to get her help. I really thought she was abused.
Normal language of somebody, I'm being beaten up, I wish the guy would get killed and he would go away, my problem would be over, right?
No, more than that.
What was that? I mean, initially?
She got in really detail about he's on probation.
Relevancies. Case law supports subjective predisposition of Ms. Dippolito is irrelevant for purposes of a motion to dismiss based on objective entrapment.
I think that's correct. There was relevancy objection for purposes of this hearing.
So when she first came to you, you thought it was all about what she was going through with her husband, what he was doing to her, and she was just talking?
In the beginning, yes.
And then as you continued to talk with her when she got the police involved, it was serious, wasn't it?
Yes.
And in fact, you thought she wanted to have her husband killed?
Yes.
This states of testimony.
If that's an objection,
You said you didn't know for sure what her last name was at the time. Is this the same person that we're talking about that told you she wanted to kill her husband? That's all I have. Thank you very much.
For your record.
A few questions. Mr. Sheila, when you went to the Boynton Beach Police Department, you didn't think that Dalia Dippolito was going to kill her husband, did you?
At one point, yes, just because the other people that got involved from the Riviera area, they got in the car with her, and I don't know what happened when they got in the car together. And I know for a fact what kind of business they're involved in with, and they're currently incarcerated for life.
Nobody ever investigated anybody at Riviera Beach, did they?
Not that I know of. I did mention it to the Boynton Beach Police Department, though.
Oh, no, that's a great point.
Right.
You mentioned that to Boynton Beach Police Department, but
Right.
isn't it true that nobody from Boynton Beach Police Department went over to Riviera Beach to interview anybody, did they?
Well, I don't know anyone's real name. I mean, everyone you see is street names. You know, I own check cashing stores. I used to chase people for loans, bad checks, so I just know people by nicknames. So I think at one point, at one time, Ms. Parker had asked me, what do they call this?
I don't want you to talk about what Ms. Parker told you.
Okay.
Let me ask you this question. You know where Riviera Beach is, right?
Correct.
Did you tell Detective Marino to hop in the car, let's drive over to Riviera Beach and we could find this area where these folks are that might have been talking to Ms. Dippolito? Did you do that?
No.
Did anybody at Boynton Beach Police Department say, hey dude, let's get in the car, let's drive over to Riviera Beach, maybe you can show us the area where these folks hang out? Did that ever happen?
No.
And yet they wanted to call you to call Ms. Dippolito, right?
Yes.
In fact, 10 times in one day, right? In fact, you got an argument at one point in time, didn't you, with Detective Marino because he was harassing you.
This is all beyond.
Isn't that correct?
Hang on a second, I got an objection beyond the scope. I'm going to go with a little objection. I'll give him a little back.
Isn't it true that at one point in time you felt so harassed by Detective Marino and him pressuring you to call Ms. Dippolito that you got an argument with him?
Yes.
That's true, right? Mm-hmm. Because you did not want to be making those phone calls, did you?
Yes.
Because you did not want to be involved in any way, shape, or form with this investigation. Isn't that true?
Right.
And yet the Boynton Beach Police Department forced you, pressured you, and intimidated you to remain involved in this investigation. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Okay. Just one last question. Do you have a clear recollection, and are you 100% sure that when you went into that Chili's restaurant with Ms. Dippolito that you were wired?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, so you may step down. Thank you. Okay, exhibits 1 and 2, where are those? Can you turn them into the clerk?
Yeah, I'll turn those in, Your Honor.
Okay, can you mark them?
Yeah, I'll do that. May I approach and ask one question? Yeah, before you... Yeah. No, I just wanted to ask, in terms of housekeeping, we've pared down our witness list. We probably only need another 2 hours maximum to finish. Okay, great. I apologize, Your Honor.
We're going to specially set this from here on out.
Thank you.
But I do need the exhibits. Do you have the exhibits?
Let me get
1 and 2 are now property as first.
Does she have them? No, I'll get them, Your Honor.
I think somebody must have taken them from the witness and brought them back to counsel today. We have 1 phone record and 2 is the CI. How about taking
Here's exhibit 2.
Look up on the witness stand.
Yeah.
That looks like 1.
Here's exhibit 2, Your Honor.
Right, so 1 of the phone records, 2 is the CI
Thank you.
agreement, alternate evidence without objection. Okay. As I said, I'm not going to keep this on a 2-hour call. I'm going to specially set the remainder of this so you can subpoena witnesses and get them in here. You want 2 hours?
I think we can do it 2 hours, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, I think that's sufficient for whatever you have to present also?
I mean, I don't know who I'll need to call yet, Judge. I don't know who they're calling. So I don't know who I'll need to call.
Well, how much time would you suggest I reserve?
It depends on who they're putting on. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I'm in response to them, so I
need a little more than that. Who are you going to call, do you know?
Sergeant Frank Ramsey, Your Honor. Stephanie Slater will be 5 minutes. Ms. Dippolito will be limited, probably 10 minutes.
All right.
And current Chief Jeff Katz, probably half hour.
Any other witnesses you can think of?
Pardon me? Yes, Stephanie, that's it, Your Honor.
Does that help, Mr. Williams?
yeah, I might be an hour then, Judge.
So we really need 3 hours. All right. Okay. This is going to have to go on my special set calendar in February. I'll give you a date, we'll special set it, and I'm going to take you off a 2-hour call. That remains set. We're going to do this. We're going to set the motion, the remainder of the motion to dismiss for hearing. 3 hours, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it the afternoon of February 23rd, which is a Tuesday. We'll start at 1:30. I'll give you the rest of the afternoon. Is there a problem with that?
Yeah, when we were here discussing dates, 2 times ago, I indicated that I was going to be away with the family that week.
If that week is out, you're going to end up in March on a special set. So you have to decide.
May we have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes. I mean, I was out next week because Mr. Williams has a trial. I would have specially set it next week, which is a motion week. The next motion week is that week of February 22nd. After that, it will be towards the end of March.
Your Honor, if we narrowed it down to 2 hours, would that?
Doesn't matter.
That wouldn't matter.
It's the motion week. Yeah, I'm in jury trial the rest of the time.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
You know how one, too.
We'll proceed with the February date.
Okay. All right, so February 23rd, I'm getting this right. February 23rd, starting at 1:30. I won't schedule anything for the rest of the afternoon. That'll be a little bit more than 3 hours, just to make sure we conclude the hearing. I want to get this done. So February 23rd, 1:30, we will complete evidence and argument on the motion to dismiss. Mr. Williams, you're filing a response?
I am, Judge. The cases I gave you are the ones that I found they're basically dead on point. They're the to catch a predator cases. So they're...
Well, are you planning on filing anything additional?
Yeah, I'll file a response, but I just wanted just so you could have them. They're short reads.
No, that's fine. I'm just...
So there's 3 of them in there.
You're going to file a formal response?
I am. I'm trying to narrow it down. It kind of got way off track with other stuff, and then when I found those cases, I'm redoing it. I'm hoping this week.
So well in advance of the February...
Oh yes, yeah. I'm trying to get it off my desk this week.
Okay, so what we'll do is, I'll obviously keep my notes of the testimony that was offered today. I'll schedule the balance of the motion to dismiss February 23rd at 1:30. All of the dates remain set. The clerk trial and everything will remain set. No, it's just you can put it on as defendant's motion to dismiss. We just call this is just testimony that we can take on. Okay, anything else we will do this afternoon?
It's important just for me to ask, there is no other date in February that works for the court at all?
Starting at first-degree murder case on February 1st. That's going to take at least 2 and a half why I have motion weeks and jury weeks. So no, I'm more than booked up for the month of February, so this is the first time here. Other than which on 2-hour call, which as you can see really doesn't really advance the ball. All right, anything further?
Thank you.
We're in recess. All we did was say testimony. The whole motion to dismiss the recording. This is just to reserve that testimony.